Episode 3 of Acolyte was just released, and we were so hoping that this episode is going to get better in comparison to our other two. But this episode breaks its pre-established assumptions. And getting just right into that, episode 1 and 2, they put us onto this mystery of what happened in the past, and we knew we were getting a flashback episode. Thankfully, we got the flashback episode. It's probably going to be a little bit more to come, but we got the flashback episode, which is fantastic as I just wanted it out of the way.
There may
But
be more.
there's probably at least one more. But again, assuming just what we know, this flashback episode makes zero sense with what they established in episodes 1 and 2. It breaks its own rules, and the character motivation specifically for May, as well as the four Jedi she's trying to kill, zero sense. Confirmed to make absolutely no sense whatsoever. Just going through the list, because yes, there's a list of things that are wrong with this episode. I'm sorry. If you're hoping for good Star Wars, we still aren't there yet. This I don't expect any of these episodes for us to have any majority of it to be good. And let us know in the comments if you enjoyed this episode before we go into it, because there's a lot. Starting off, I mean, same thing as episode 1 and 2. The dialogue is so bad. The dialogue's terrible. I know I gave the prequel trilogy a lot of shit for the dialogue, especially with it being intentionally cheesy. This is just outright bad. There is a I quote, there's a conversation going back and forth, repeating the lines, the Jedi are good, the Jedi are bad, and they just go back and forth. Then there's another one, same character saying, this is your fault. No, this is your fault, as everything is literally on fire around them. It's just shit. The dialogue's awful. The writing makes is so bad. The story here seems a bit forced. I will say though, I am a little bit more intrigued with the story of this episode than I was of the previous two. That could have been due to my lower expectations. And I did like one of the characters they introduced, the mother. I thought the actress did a great job, and I am intrigued as I do like introducing more force groups, especially getting more depth with the force, as we all know, but this isn't something that's really pushed through the movies, is that the force itself is not inherently light or dark. And I like how that is consistent pushed throughout this episode. But with the group of witches that are introduced, and I know because the director, well, the creator wants to break away from previous Star Wars. If you want to break away from previous Star Wars, don't create knockoffs of previously established groups and say you're making new ground, because these are essentially just knockoff Witches of Dathomir, but shit. Part of that has to do with the bad sound effects and music going along with them using their powers, the terrible chanting, and just going through it all. The sound effects don't really make it seem all that mystical. It just makes it seem a bit comical, which I wasn't really there for. And because I know this is going to drive me up the wall, but they introduced a female Dathomir, just fine, except she has horns, which is not fine because only male Dathomiri have horns. So again, if you're going to break free of Star Wars tradition, just create a new race. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. If that's not actually a Dathomiri, I could see it going either way, but I'm
No, that's
90%
a
sure that's bullshit.
yeah, there's God damn it. I wore my Star Wars t-shirt, man. Again, I wanted to like it. I truly did. I'm not trying to shit all over a show just to shit on it. I wanted to like it. I'm not even mad because there's some, you know, not heterosexual shit going on. I'm not even mad at that because that's not either here nor there. It's a space chick with a human, and you know,
It's
they
totally
have
fine.
they have twins. So I don't know the biology of fucking aliens. I don't know what that shit's
It's
like.
kind of like alluded similar to Anakin. She just
Which
got force pregnant, which is
that's
it's
stupid.
always a little
That's
stupid, but we'll see.
see
There's still a
when
bit of
they
a mystery around it.
when they did that for Anakin, there's a whole plot behind that. You know, it's he's the chosen one. It's supposed to happen. It's an awaited Messiah. It's kind of like fucking Paul Atreides from Dune, things like that. Obviously he has a dad and a mom. Anakin's like the chosen one. Here, these two random bitches who I don't care for, as Griff said, there's something else behind it. I hope it changes from the whole Anakin chosen one thing. It's just the episodes suck. The writing is fucking boring as balls. I kept wanting to text Griff because he saw it before I did, and just tell him how bored to death I was.
Yeah.
Um, the one Reverend Witch, I'm gonna call her Reverend Witch Mother, I guess. I liked her acting. I like the chick that plays her. I do like Soul, but
Yeah.
that's it, man. This shit is as much as I crapped on Sydney Sweeney. Whatever I saw from Sydney Sweeney is a thousand times better than this shit. This I was bored. The I was never made to care about any of the characters other than Soul. And the only reason I care about Soul is because there's a phenomenal actor
Yeah.
playing the guy. But if it was just any other guy, I wouldn't give a fuck. Uh, there was very little action here. It's just the writing sucks, man. I hate the creator of this show with a passion. And I promise it's got nothing to do with her sexual orientation. I don't care. I don't care about, I mean, you could be anything and be qualified for a job, and I'm good with that. It's just the shit she says, how she expresses herself about George and Star Wars. And like Griff
Yeah.
said, just get your shit right, man. I was excited for the show because it's High Republic. I love the High Republic books. But other than the Jedi robes, this shit
And not
is
to,
wonky as
especially with the High
hell.
Republic, not to mention Mai and her sister's age, and that being brought into play because that's again, it's
I
just
guess
breaking.
Jedi can just train old kids now because for all the shit that the council, which by the way, Griff and I know, and some of you hardcore Star Wars fans out there know that at least two Jedi who are around in this age are Jedi Council members in Phantom Menace gave Anakin shit because he was allegedly too old.
Yep.
Anakin was 9 years old. If this chick is younger than 9 years old, I'd be fucking surprised. But
Yeah.
there's no
And the same
way.
rules apply here in the High Republic era. We double
Yeah.
checked it.
So a lot of these, Jedi like go and get infants because, they haven't been corrupted by life or whatever. They haven't been attached to their parents and certain shit. That's why they go after like infants.
Mhm.
Essentially, Jedi are fucking kidnappers.
No, no,
Um,
they are just kidnappers. There's no need to sugarcoat it. They just kidnap people and
and the
claim it's
reason
for
behind that
galactic
is,
peace.
well, if we would have taken you older, you would have been attached to which that shit does make more sense. 'Cause
It
I have
makes
I
sense.
have an 8-year-old. If Jedi showed up and they were like, "Yeah, we're taking your daughter," I'd be like, "No, you're
That's
not."
yeah.
And then also my daughter would be like, it's hard to leave. Also, this kid was just like, "Yep, I grew up with you bitches. You guys all raised me. You're my mom and my mom. But hey, guess what? Fuck all of
And
y'all. I just want to be a Jedi all of a sudden." I'm like,
so also with that, like the exact scene that Edward's talking about, this may have just been my sort of feeling. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and Edward, you let me know. But I find it extremely ironic. So it's no secret about the creator's sexuality, and that does come into play here. So bear with me. The parents' sexuality being lesbians, and then them essentially having a coming out scene, and then have it pretty much go the worst possible outcome ever. I feel like, especially for your message and what the creator wants to push forward, that that goes against your agenda, doesn't it? Like that 100% was written and almost it did feel like a coming out scene, right? Like I don't want to like I'm not a witch, I'm a Jedi. That was I'm not wrong there, right? You felt that too?
no.
Okay,
But that's just
just me.
because I was just bored out of my mind. But see, here's the thing. So like she's she grew up with these bitches, right? These space witches. I don't know what to call them because I know they're
They
not
have no name.
Dathomirian witches. So space witches. They raise them, right? These girls are 8 or 9 years old. All of a sudden, one of them is like, "Yeah, fuck the 8 years that I've spent with you, hoes. Let me just go with this group of monks." That messes with me for the following reason. Yes, I keep references the prequels because I have to. Anakin, even Anakin, who like he was starstruck when he met Qui-Gon Jinn. He was like, "Oh my God, I've dreamt of being a Jedi." When he actually gets the chance to do it, he almost doesn't go because he's like, "Wait, will I ever see my mom again?" And there's that scene with him and his mom where he was like, but I don't want to like not see you."
Yeah.
He wasn't just like, "Oh, hey mom, C3PO, fuck you guys. I'm just leaving this shitty planet."
It just
He
goes
you
down to
know,
bad writing every time.
exactly. And a lot of people have said that George is not the greatest writer in the world, and
I agree.
there could
Yeah.
be a debate there. But even George was smart enough to be like, no, he's not just gonna be like, yeah, fuck my mom. I'm just gonna get on that spaceship and go.
Yeah, I mean, even with like George's bad writing, yeah, there are plot holes and some inconsistencies, but at least the story is still engaging. He introduces the characters and we get
Here's
character
the thing.
development. And here it's
I
just,
don't like this woman, Leslie Headland.
yeah.
This is the ex private assistant of Harvey Weinstein, one of the biggest pieces of shit in Hollywood. And she was there when he did a lot of the shit we all know he did. This is the woman you hire to create a new Star Wars show. I'm not saying
Yeah.
she's a bad person. I have no way to know that, but the I don't like her. But the way she expresses about Star Wars and the shit that she's
It's
doing,
just kind of
like
disrespectful.
we have a Wookiee Jedi. We've been waiting for that forever.
Yeah.
Just in the background, just growling, still not doing shit, fixing a bike.
Yeah, it's
I get it. They're building up to shit. We're probably gonna get some, God willing, awesome action sequence.
I
But
hope so. I mean, at least the action is really good in this series. We're gonna get to see in this episode, but I am looking forward to that in the future. We're doing our best to separate the creator and the work.
it
It's
was nice
just
to see Carrie on Moss again. But again, the way
she didn't
she's
do
being
shit.
utilized, she's just there.
And she was flat at like her acting was flat. That most of the acting is just bad, wooden, and lifeless. There's nothing to them.
Which again,
I'm
hey,
just thinking
Sydney
like
Sweeney, I apologize. What I said about you. As much as I had to say about her, the acting here, except for
those
Soul,
two. Yeah,
it's flat. Even Daphne King, who I really liked,
she hasn't had a
there
time to
was
shine yet, so I'm really hoping she pulls through because she is a good
man.
actress. I mean,
I hope you're dead right because
I don't know what Disney saw, but if this was
oh,
pitched
I'll
to
tell you what they
you,
saw. Kathleen Kennedy. She
yeah,
likes
they
woke
saw
shit.
check marks. That's all they saw.
Sadly,
And one big thing with it is the way this was marketed is completely different what the show actually is. This is not a murder mystery whatsoever. We've solved that mystery. We know who's killing everyone in the first episode. The way this was
which is
marketed
lame.
is complete bait and switch, and that is disappointing. Sadly, sad to say, I am still hoping this turns around. I do understand if you guys are going to bug out. Come back for our next episode review because I at least think it's going to be fun to talk about because it's likely not going to be good and there'll be more inconsistencies that will get Edward and I unnecessarily heated.
Stop with the checkmark shit. Just give us good writing, great story, great action, and
And
Star Wars. That's it.
funniest thing about all of Disney in general, this includes Star Wars, they were more inclusive when they weren't trying to be. Just go
Yeah.
back to making great stories. That's all you need.
Stop.
Inclusivity comes naturally. Don't need to force it.
It's a galaxy. There's a ton of weird shit.
Yeah,
You don't need to. We don't need the token, Asian, the token African American dude. We don't need the token Latino.
just write great
It,
characters.
yeah. It
That's it.
doesn't matter what race they are, what sexuality they are. If they're great characters, we're gonna dig it.
Yeah.
You don't need to check mark shit.
Sadly, folks, it really is just that simple. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, check out our review of Andor. Diego Luna does a fantastic job, and season 2 is coming out next year. Some great Star Wars, and thank you guys so much. Hopefully next week's better. Hopefully it's at least entertaining for you guys to watch us.